Hello, welcome to Caesar Snack Sandwich. Today I have a really quick video for you on SwapX. Now, recently I did a tweet here that kind of explains why I think Sonics is a good place to put some of your capital to yield farm. You can read through this. I'll probably add this as a retweet into the tweet for this video. After I tweeted this out, I got a message from this lady here. Lady Mania from SwapX, who kind of asked me, hey, you should check out SwapX if you want to, and so that's what I'm doing today. So as usual, I've read through all the docs, and they're pretty good. They're none of the pages are too complicated and too hard to understand. But as always, I would suggest you to read the docs yourself, get a deeper understanding, confirm some of the things I'm going to say. I'm just going to jump through the front end and kind of point at stuff and say, look at this, look at this, look at this. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I might jump back to the docs a few times to elaborate on some of the things I say there. This is a ve33 DEX for voting systems. And if you don't know what ve33 is, you can kind of check out this playlist I have where I kind of talk a lot about ve33 DEXs in the space and how they work. I would highly suggest you watch this first one where where ve33 came from, and then you get a pretty good understanding of what ve33 DEX is, and then they all have little differences and so forth, but anyhow, that's that. Okay, so let's swing over to the front end and kind of jump through some of the things there. Rise is the next generation, high throughput based rollup. Rise Chain is ushering in the gigagas era with a parallel execution engine and a continuous pipeline. Find out more at riselabs.xyz. Okay, so here we are on the front end. We have SwapX. There's a few things that I would like to really mention here that kind of make this thing stand out. If we go to the earn. Okay, so the earn is where you would be creating liquidity pools. Of course, you can swap. Let's go to swap first. Okay, so if you wanted to swap, let's say you just wanted to sell, let's say 100,000 swap tokens, and we go to the root here. As you can see, it does jump through multi-pools, which is great, and they say in the docs that they're using Odos to do these hops, to designate where these hops are, to try to reduce any kind of arbitrage opportunities that are created. If you're familiar with Odos, then you'll understand what I'm talking about here. But the one thing I do notice that I wish it was like, if it is using Odos, then I would highly appreciate if it actually went through all the DEXs on Sonic instead of just routing through the pools of SwapX. So I would prefer that. That's the kind of person I am. I do get the idea of like, well, there are pools, we want to swap through our pools. But I do think as a user experience, they talk a little bit about user experience in their docs and why they want to improve it. I would think that the best user experience is to always use a DEX aggregator that swaps through every pool on a chain, and maybe even in the future swaps through pools on other chains as well. So anyways, that would be kind of a criticism. The only real criticism I have against this is that they're only swapping through their own pools, which is unfortunate. Continue on. So we go to earn. So this is a fully equipped DEX where you can provide liquidity to volatile, so constant product pools, classic stable swap pools, the solidly stable swap formula or algorithm, and these concentrated liquidity pools. Now, when you go through this, it looks a little bit different than what you're used to, but it's all here. So let's say I wanted to provide to something simple, like let's say wrapped Sonic USDC, yeah. So if we go in here, we can see we have manual, which allows you to choose your ranges and so forth, which is awesome, and then automated. Now, if you go to automated and we click down here, you can choose which token you want to deposit, because this is actually using Ichi strategies to provide these this liquidity. So it's going to, you know, protect. If you were to use USDC and you were to deposit 1,000, say 10,000 USDC into this, it's going to swap a little bit of it to USD wrapped Sonic in order to put you in range, right? But it's going to try its best to protect your USDC. Now, if you're bullish on Sonic, maybe you will deposit that instead, and it's going to try to protect your Sonic quantities, right? So I do have a video on Ichi, so you can kind of watch that to better understand Ichi, and I'm pretty sure I do at least. Let me double check. Okay, Caesar, Ichi. Yeah, so Ichi Foundation, I believe that this is it. Yeah. So you can watch this video as well to kind of get a better understanding how the Ichi vaults work. But I really do like that they're using Ichi inside here. Now, another really cool thing that you won't see here, so I'm gonna have to swing over to the docs, is they're using Algebra v4, and Algebra v4 allows for like hooks, like Uniswap v4 hooks, okay? You can read this section here to kind of get an understanding of what plugins are and so forth. But they've created this yield sync plugin, which is pretty cool. And what it basically does is it allows for pools that are created with like pegged assets. So traditionally, these pegged assets or assets that are relatively correlated do not produce a whole lot of trading fees. So people don't want to vote on them and create incentives for them, because when you vote on a pool in a ve33, then you get the fees from that pool, and if this pool is not creating fees because they're correlated assets, then you're not going to vote on it. So it's kind of like a this plugin, this v4 hook plugin fixes this dynamic in a way. So if we open up the kind of the idea here, this little flowchart. So when you provide liquidity to these LST special liquidity pairs, this helper contract will take your assets and provide the liquidity for you. And then when users withdraw from it, it takes into account the amount of growth that asset has had, and then distributes some of that asset back to as voting incentives. So if you read this kind of, I'm going to read through this and you'll get a pretty good understanding. Okay, so for example, the Lido staked ETH and Kelp ETH over 30 days contributed to this yield. That doesn't really help you. With 50% resync, this adds $10,000 in voting incentives. So I guess, you know, if we read this, it doesn't really make it clear. I'll just use my own language to kind of explain it. So it takes into account the increased value of these liquid staking tokens, as well as other assets like other assets that are yield bearing, that are not rebasing, like these stable coins, right? That are, increasing in value all the time. And it basically takes half of that yield and then provides that yield as voting incentives on the pool. So if you're holding these assets, you have to think of it like, if you provide these assets to the liquidity pool, then you're giving up some of your assets yield in order to get incentives and rewards, of course, as well as the trading fees. There will be some trading fees, right? So the trading fees are incentivizing the voting, but also a portion of your yield on these interest-bearing tokens is also providing incentives. And it does say 50% here, so half of them, okay? So I think that's pretty cool. It's definitely worth a gander and worth considering, and I do think it's a valid attempt. Now, they do have this page here on plugins where they're like, we have a factory. You can create your own plugins. You can create your own pool with plugins. Obviously, this is a little bit outside the purview of this video. I don't want to get into how to create a plugin. That would be something you'd want to reach out to them, make sure you're doing it, make sure they know what you're doing, and you're going to get like whitelisted, or you're going to have success in your plugin. But the fact that they have like this plugin factory that allows you to create your own plugins is pretty cool. So let's swing back to the front end, see if there's anything else. Voting. So we should talk about voting. The lock times on the votes. Let's see if it says here lock. It should say here up to 2 years. So they've decreased the lock time from 4 years from the original VE3 model down to 2 years. So again, all you have to do is lock some of the swap tokens for up to 2 years. 2 years will give you like 1-to-1 voting power, and then the normal solidly system is here, where your voting power decays unless you extend your lock every week and so forth. I'm not sure if you need to vote every week or if your votes are roll over or not, so that would be something I would suggest you to look at. I did not read it anywhere, and I don't remember if I read it anywhere. So X NFT staking, you can stake your X NFTs to earn a share of the swap trading fees. So this is kind of like just allow you to stake your NFT, these NFTs. I believe they must have done some sort of sale or NFT sale or something like that. I did not mint any of these, so I'm not going to really spend a lot of time. I didn't want to spend a lot of time looking at this, but I guess you could consider these X NFTs, buying an X NFT to get a share of the revenue. And then they do have some referral system. I did not create a referral, so I don't have a referral for you today. That's pretty much it. I don't want to get into too deep. I just want to kind of give you a little overview of what's going on here, so you can come and check it out. And once again, I will mention my my motivation for doing this video is to kind of increase the use of this blockchain, because I do believe in the system that they've created here with these gems and this so forth. Okay, so if you are going to consider using Sonic, I would ask that you just throw my referral link into the front end when you sign up. So it's pretty much here, my Sonic Lab points. When you go to points, it's going to ask you to right here put share. It'll ask you to connect your X, and then it'll ask you to for a referral link. And if you do put that referral link, much appreciated. It'll increase my points. Okay, so that's pretty much it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this is useful and interesting and so forth. And that's it. Goodbye.